welcome to Seaford Oval. Magnificent day, magnificent view, and a great game of football in prospect here as we bring you the Bloomers Lawyers Under-19s Division 1 Grand Final from Seaford Oval. Chris Coleman's my name, Nate. Great to have your company wherever you might be. And I know the Grand Final days, all our games here in the Canberra Region Rugby League do draw a massive audience, not just around Australia, but from friends and family overseas and fans of rugby league from around the world. This game, the Queanbeyan Blues versus the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs, should be a belter. Just a quick look at the conditions. 12 degrees we have, plenty of sunshine around, but I can tell you the wind is blowing in, and you'll hear it occasionally whistling in across our effects microphones. So it does feel considerably cool, that wind chill making the apparent temperature about 4 degrees. So a wee bit chilly here, but what a game in prospect we've got here. This Queanbeyan Blues side has dominated all before them. They've been on top of the ladder all through the season. The Goulburn Workers Bulldogs started slightly slowly. They were fourth after round one, third after round two, and there's a knock-on from the kick-off from Lincoln Bradley for the Queanbeyan Blues. And the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs, they know they're going to have to be on their game here. They got to second place in round three, and they stayed there for the rest of the season. So it has been for the virtual entire season in this under-19s competition. First versus second. The only loss the Queanbeyan Blues incurred was against Goulburn, was back in round 16. They lost 22-16. The Bulldogs, they lost against Woden Valley in round 14. They also lost a semi-final against the Queanbeyan Blues. And in the preliminary final, it was the Goulburn Workers who won that one over the Woden Valley Rams to bring you to where we are today. I'll go through some lineups shortly, but it's Goulburn in the white with the first attacking opportunity. They pop the ball back there for Isaac Lanham. Big second rower, just a metre out. They've got plenty of options. Coming across to the right now, that's Jake Sass in the headgear. Coming around to the fullback, Max Flack, and Flack is about 12 out now. Wind blowing from our camera side of the ground down towards those goalposts you can see in the background. They go across to the left through the hands. Douglas was in there. I reckon that's Eaton who's been tackled in just under the posts. A little bit of a scurrying run then from Angus Marshall. Last tackle, says the referee, Elijah Finance. They've got an overlap, but they can get the ball out fast enough. It's gone fast, but it's been picked up off the ground, so that'll be wrapped up. Good tackle in there by Connor Williams, the Queanbeyan Blues halfback. And the Blues will get the ball back courtesy of a turnover. So let's have a look at this lineup for this Queanbeyan Blues side. Fullback is Lincoln Bradley. Ashton Naidu is on the wing in the 2 jersey. In the 5, it's Eldrick Pahara. 3 and 4 in the centres, Jared Hitchens and Adam Barlow. 5'8" is Hayden Bradley. Halfback is Connor Williams. You've got Bradley Buckley in the 8, Sam Woods in 9, Ryan Longhurst in 10. That's your front row. Second row is Willie Delamere in 11, James Antonio in 12. The lock is Faitu Falasai in the 13. And then off the bench, Jamie Bradley in 14, Jack Williams in 15, Joshua Polvera in 16, and Michael Morrison in 17. You heard a lot of Bradleys in there. There's 3 players with the surname Bradley, none of them related in this Queanbeyan Blues under-19 side. There are 2 Williamses, they are cousins. So, and there's also, just to add to the issue, Bradley Buckley, as we see the first burst of the day from Connor Williams. He's got 2 players on his outside. This will be a try. Lincoln Bradley has the ball. He goes over the 20. He's over the 10. He goes forced out wide, but he gets the ball down. And the Queanbeyan Blues, they continue to do what they have done all season. They've scored early. Less than 3 minutes gone on the clock, and Lincoln Bradley, the first try scorer for the afternoon. Good set-up work by Connor Williams on the burst for him across the mid-stripe. Now tries early when you haven't had a chance to go through the various setups. So look at that work there from Williams. Could have raffled it off there had Lincoln Bradley. Adam Barlow was in the line as well. Max Flack did what he could for the Goulburn Workers. Couldn't wrap him up, and now Ashton Naidu looks like he's going to take the goal kick here. That's interesting. Naidu's kicked 13 for the season. Connor Williams, who made the burst earlier, 45 goals for him for the year. Caught a lot of football and a lot of grounds, and a lot of codes across the course of this year, so haven't had a chance to see a lot of this under-19s competition. But I tell you, everyone I've spoken to has said these 2 sides the absolute standouts. Wait for Naidu to have his conversion attempt here, and then I'll go through the Goulburn Workers side. Very windy day, but he's absolutely nailed that, has Naidu. And straight up at 6-0 to the Queanbeyan Blues in this under-19s Division 1 Grand Final for the Bloomers Lawyers competition. Goulburn Workers, Max Flack is their fullback in the 1. The wingers in 2, it's Cody Tozer, Logan Dial in the 5. Cooper O'Connor and Braden Boyd, the centres in 3 and 4. Jake Sass is the 5'8". Nick Douglas is the halfback. The front row, Josh Eaton in the 8. Angus Marshall the hooker. Bailey Lanham in the 10. Isaac Lanham in the second row in the 11. Jack Pepinell in the 12. Lachlan Greenwood is the lock. And then they've got an extended bench. I'm not sure which 4 of these players will take to the field. But we've got Dylan Brown in 14. Christian Moss 15. Liam Greenwood 16. Matthew Wood 17. Harry Christen in 18. And Thomas Croker in 19. Referee, as I mentioned earlier, is Elijah Finance. And the touch judges are Angus Blackman and Jack Black. So it's the Blues playing the ball now from just inside their own half, and I think that's one of the Lanhams in there. Actually, that was one of the Greenwoods in there, apologies. Got so many shared surnames here. It'll take me a minute or two to just get my head around that. That was Boyd taking the ball to the halfway line. Now it's Eaton. A lot of this Goulburn side have played in nearly every game for the season. The kick will come from Sass. Goes down to, sorry, the kick will come. Let's try that again. That was from Bradley. My apologies. I've got my sheets the wrong way around. I've turned that around. We'll fix that up now. So apologies for getting those names backwards. We'll try it again. Got a plane come over the ground. Now it's the Goulburn side on the way forward. Very compressed, this Goulburn side. That's Longhurst. About 12 short of halfway. Around with the kick from inside the 40. It bounces over the head of Lincoln Bradley. That's a monster kick, and it's going to roll, and it does go dead. So the Queanbeyan Blues will get the ball back on the 20. Settle down now for a little bit more controlled football perhaps, and the Goulburn side very compressed. There's only one player, now 2, outside those 20-metre hash marks, so the bulk of that side right at the middle of the park. Queanbeyan there as well. Now the Blues go to the left, and that's Bradley Buckley. Woods a dummy half, goes to his right, finds Longhurst, and Longhurst gets to the halfway line. Numbers to the left, and instead of run from the dummy half, Woods takes the ball 10 metres into Goulburn territory. That's Bradley, Hayden Bradley, sends it to Connor Williams. Williams goes on the outside, finds Lincoln Bradley. And they're making yardage quite easily, but this is the last. Still outside the 20, so the kick will come, and it goes across field. Big challenge for Harry Christen for Goulburn, but he takes it. And then he's picked up and dumped in there. Willie Delamere comes up and makes the big tackle, helping out Adam Barlow. The Bulldogs will start inside their own 20, but they'll get some free real estate. Back to 10, and now Goulburn with a good penalty, a good touch finder, will be just short of the halfway line. That's Boyd, Braden Boyd. 10 metres into Queanbeyan territory. This is a good starting point for a set for this Goulburn Workers side. There's Lachlan Greenwood on the previous run. Now they come around the outside. There's Sass. Little juggle, hangs on to it. 6 again, says the referee. Now the penalty as well. Penalty will be taken by Angus Marshall. He just takes the tap, gives it to Isaac Lanham, and Isaac Lanham gives the big don't argue. He's inside the 10. He called a shoulder charge against Queanbeyan. So referee Elijah Finance asserting his authority early in the game. They go via Sass now, onto Nick Douglas. Ball on the outside to Boyd. That's the first. Numbers to the left and they go that way. Trying to break through under the post. It was a good little ball from Marshall. Auckland Greenwood was the recipient. They can get around the outside here where they go Cooper O'Connor. Cooper O'Connor goes to the outside. Cody Tozer is that over in the far corner. Simple stuff, basic stuff, and it's worked well for them. The Goulburn workers, they pull back the deficit from 6-0 to 6-4 with a kick to come. We get to play 10 minutes here. Clock stops. And that appears to be a player down injured. We'll come back to that in a second, but that's good play, just simple stuff. Across to O'Connor and then on to Tozer. They score in the corner. This won't be the easiest of conversions. Max Flack has been a virtual goal-kicking machine for the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs. He has 58 goals for the season so far. So just continuing the tale of the tape between these two sides. To give you an idea of how close we're expecting this game to be today. For the Blues, it was 11 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. For the Workers Bulldogs, it was 11 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw. The Blues scored 520 points, conceded 118 for a differential of 402. The Bulldogs scored 462 points, so they didn't score as many, but they only conceded, believe it or not, in the 13 games, they only conceded 74 points. That's less than 6 points per game. So their defence is pretty good. Points differential finished at plus 388. So there was barely a struck match between them. And as I said, they played each other twice during the season. And the ledger on that is 1 win apiece, 22-6 each way. Conversion attempt from the corner from Flack is pretty good, but it's just pushed away by the wind. So with 11 minutes gone here in the Bloomers Lawyers Under-19 Division 1 Grand Final, it's the Queanbeyan Blues 6, leading the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs 4. Both sides scoring early in their possessions. We see the ball picked up off the turf by Harry Christen. I believe he's a talented athlete and cricketer as well. Certainly has been in the past. I think working it across to the right, Bailey Lanham it was, onto Logan Dial. Trying to steal the ball to the Queanbeyan side, but Dial has a good grip on it, 15 short of the halfway line. Bulldogs need a good consolidating set. That was Isaac Lanham taking it in. They go to Sass once again. Sass kicks for the corner. It'll bounce once, it'll bounce twice. That might, oh, it just goes dead in goal. Wind pushed that a little bit. On a still day, I reckon that would have gone dead about a metre this side of the corner post. You can really hear that wind blowing on our effects microphones. That gives you an idea of what they're contending with. Might be interesting. We may see some low trajectory kicks over towards this side of the ground later in the day, where there was a little bit of shelter from the grandstands. Over that side of the ground, the wind is going to come in over the top of the stands, hit the ground, and really blow across. As the Blues now looking to extend their lead, 12 and a half gone here. They work it across to the right, and that's Tuifalasai. Only played about half the games this season for the Queanbeyan Blues, but scored in virtually every one of them. 6 tries from 7 appearances. And now with the hair out the back of the headgear, that's James Antonio. They keep the play going. They've gone wide over to the far side of the park. I reckon that's Eldrick Pahara who wound up with it. He's outside the 20. Coming left, Connor Williams. Now to Barlow. Barlow on the 20. He's got a gap. He's got a man on his outside. Well, he probably should have passed. It would have been in. Not held. Gets up, plays again. 3 metres to go. Dicing with danger. This Goulburn Workers side. The ball comes to Connor Williams. The little chip kick goes through. And the Bulldogs just bring it back into the field of play. Courtesy of Cody Tozer. Wow, what a game. What a game and what a challenge so far. I think that's Cooper O'Connor. It is for the Goulburn Workers side. Now they come back to Tozer again. 3 tackles and they've made 11 metres. Love the hair on Antonio at the back of that headgear. Won't miss him across the course of the day, will you? That's Eaton. Now Isaac Lanham. Still inside their own 40. Last tackle. Do they go for the 40-20? They're kicking for that side, kicking with the wind. But a good take in there by Lincoln Bradley. And he's got time to work out where he wants to go. He runs straight at the 5'8". Jake Sass tackles him just short of the halfway line. Up quickly the Goulburn side. This game's going to be played at furious pace across the day. And that's Naidu. Naidu throws the dummy, sells a little candy and takes it about 7 metres into Bulldogs territory. They go left, cut a couple out. Bradley had it for a moment. It was Hayden Bradley for the tackle. Completed by Willie Delamere. Willie Delamere it was. Now working it up the middle of the park. Last tackle, says the referee. There's Hayden Bradley again, gives it to Connor Williams. He's had a game so far. There's Antonio. Antonio tries to burst through the line. Don't think he realised it was the last tackle going by the way he got up to try and play the ball there. So the Bulldogs, they get the ball back. End-to-end stuff here at Seaford Oval on Grand Final Day. And it may well be end-to-end stuff here from the fullback, Max Flack. Still not tackled. He's burst through the first. He's beaten the ankle tap and he gets up to halfway. I did say a point-scoring machine, that man. He's scored 58 goals. He's also got 10 tries for the year. That was Boyd. That was a good run from Lachlan Greenwood. Now back to Braden Boyd. He's had a lot of touches early in this one for the Bulldogs. They go left. Douglas shapes to go left, goes to the right, goes to the left rather, gives it to Sass, Sass onto Flack. Flack finds, I reckon that's O'Connor. Bit hard to tell by the way he's piggybacking two of the Blues with him. It is. Last tackle. They run the ball, they give it to the big second rower. That's Isaac Lanham. Lanham does not get the ball down, so it'll be a changeover. Ball to come back to the Queanbeyan Blues on the 10-metre line. Outside their own 20 now. This Blues side. It's just all about at the moment. Seems for the Blues to just be all about hitting the line at speed and seeing if they can break through. That's Tufalasai there. They come across to the left. Goulburn, they spread their defensive line out just a little bit more than they did earlier. They stopped Lincoln Bradley there. Now can they stop Willie Delamere? It's a hard task, but they're up to it. They get around his ankles, bring you to a stop. Messi play the ball. That's the last. The kick comes from Hayden Bradley. He's kicking for the corner. It'll get into the in-goal area. Knocked back there by Cody Tozer. Knocked forward, says the referee. Knock on in the in-goal. It's about as far as you can possibly get from our commentary position up here in the Crow's Nest on top of the grandstand. Running a little bet with myself here. We've got a monitor on the desk up here that we don't often have when we're calling the local rugby league, so it's nice. I'm just wondering how long the monitor is going to last here in the wind because it is rocking viciously. So we've got a stoppage here with 12:18 until the break. Not sure if we can pick who that player is. Receiving treatment. Just to give you an idea of where we're perched. If you haven't seen a lot of Canberra Region Rugby League lately, if you watched our grand final coverage last year, you'll note that the cameras this year were considerably higher up. This is the first time I've used this broadcast point. There we go. So we found out it was Lachlan Greenwood who was down injured. Looks to be okay. Much more elevated view than we've had in past years. Play restarts, the long line dropout. Connor Williams has it. He gives it back to Faitua Falasai. Already they're 20 metres into the Bulldogs' half. There's Antonio, and Antonio takes it another 10, making another 15 by the time he stops to play the ball. That's the second. Danger signs here. Woods in a dummy half. Runs across field, has options, gives it to Connor Williams, to Falasai. Now they go to the left on the overlap. It's with Delamere. It's with Delamere. It's try time for Willie Delamere. Through the hands. Was set up with the overlap, with the extra men. I'm not sure how far back we'll go on the replay here, but mentioned the compressed defensive line that Goulburn had earlier. And you can see there, 1, 2, 3, extra players on the outside. Just a little hold up of the pass there opens up the gap for Delamere to get through. And now it's 10-4, kick to come with 11 minutes remaining. Absolutely blowing a gale here. Having said that, it's otherwise a pretty nice day. Ashton Naidu with the conversion, not far from where he took his previous kick from memory. As I was going to say, the only other time I was rostered to call the game from here at Seaford Oval during the course of the season was a day when there was thunderstorms forecast and lightning forecast, and I wasn't real keen to work on the roof that day, and common sense prevailed. We wound up downstairs. So first chance to look at this, and congratulations to the Queanbeyan Palarang Regional Council for putting this up. It's tremendous. Conversion attempt goes astray. So the score remains 10-4. This is a great addition to this ground. Enjoying it. This Queanbeyan Blues side, they don't have a standout try scorer. It amazed me when putting the stats together. They don't have anyone who got into double digits on the tries. But listen to this, if I work through 1 through 17, number of tries scored to players: 6-3, 6-8, 5-1, 3, 2, 6-3, 6-3, 6-1, 6. Joshua Polvera, the only man in the 17 for the Queanbeyan Blues who hasn't scored a try this season. And Michael Morrison in the 17 jersey has scored but one, but no real standout try scorer. The Goulburn Workers, on the other hand, Max Flack, 10 tries and 58 goals as they're on the burst again, this Queanbeyan side. So very, very dangerous, and Angus Marshall, the hooker, with 13. So it's a potent attacking machine versus a couple of focal points. It will be interesting to see how this one plays out. That's Connor Williams. Hayden Bradley with the long hair gives it off to Delamere. Delamere pops one out the back. It's gone to Naidu, but I think it's gone forward. Has gone forward. Naidu would have been into space. Instead, it'll be scrum feed to the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs. Man who's bringing in the reserve grade action, Sonny Singh, is standing here getting ready for the next game. Queanbeyan Kangaroos versus the West Belconnen Warriors. And then we'll join forces for the main game later on this afternoon here at Seaford Oval. And after we froze at GIO Stadium during the women's game yesterday, Sonny has just reminded me that he's brought his gloves today. I don't think you'll need them necessarily today, Sonny. It's not as cold up here as it was on the grandstand yesterday. He's a bit soft, is Sonny. He's got on one anyway. Now it's the Goulburn side. They bring the ball into Queanbeyan territory. Made a few changes. Going for a run there is Angus Marshall. Who looks very keen out there is Christian Moss. They've cut him out this time. Now it's Sass. Sass to Flack. Flack to O'Connor. O'Connor to Tozer. He's got one. He's got one. Pops the ball back on the inside. Maybe should have held on to it. Either way, Queanbeyan come up with it over in the far corner. He's a dangerous weapon, Cody Tozer. Only a handful of tries during the course of the season, but certainly got plenty of pace around there as the relieving penalty comes. And the Queanbeyan Blues take this touch finder from about 15 out from their own line. Not worrying too much about it. I love calling from Seaford Oval. I love watching footy. So many memories at this ground, both at local level and back in the New South Wales Rugby League days for the Canberra Raiders. So many people here in their cars, and plenty more cars piling into this ground as well. There's going to be chock-a-block here come the main game at 3 o'clock or thereabouts. Here once again goes Tui Falasai. Left Hayden Bradley. They continue to left. They've got an overlap. Well, they need it. They may not. Adam Barlow. He's through the line. Got Lincoln Bradley on his outside. Does he go to him? He throws the dummy. He evades the tackle. And Adam Barlow's in for a third for the Queanbeyan Blues in this first half. Oh, cut him open. Surgical strike. 14-4. Magic stuff. Geez, been long range stuff here today. The first try for the Blues coming after Connor Barlow cuts the Bulldogs open, and this time, well, it's Adam Barlow and it's all his own work. 50-odd metres of running in there, dives through. Jake Sass, the only man from the Bulldogs within cooey, and I reckon he was about 10 metres behind him and probably losing ground, and we all know you run faster when you're not carrying a footy than when you are carrying one. Well, most of the time, but maybe not on this occasion. Barlow in for the 4-pointer, and by the time Naidu has taken this conversion attempt, there'll be 5 minutes left on the clock in the first half. I suspect Ashton Naidu will be happier about this conversion attempt. A little bit closer towards the posts. If he kicks it quickly, he might get away from with a lull in the wind. It suddenly stopped blowing. And I tell you, when the wind isn't blowing, it's very nice. Swings the right boot around, no problem whatsoever. Naidu has 2 from 3. 16 points to 4, 4.5 remaining. The Queanbeyan Blues, well, they've scored a phenomenal number of points. 13 games they've played, scored 520 across the course of the regular season. Bulldogs, as I said, weren't far behind them, scored 462. And that was my one big question, was what was going to win today, the attack or the defence? They're both prolific attacking sides and both very good defending sides. At the moment, oh dear, Connor Williams completely lost that. I'm going to suggest that he may have lost that in the sun, actually. Looking at the direction of it. Not sure if we can catch that on replay or not. I reckon he lost that in the sun. It'll be a late opportunity for the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs to score here off the back of the scrum as it comes down. Yeah, I reckon he's lost that in the sun on the way down, just at the crucial moment. Back to live action, and it's Max Flack. Trying not to wax lyrical and go into poetry about Max Flack, the fast fullback, etc. Now they give it to one of the big fellas, that's Matthew Wood. He's only just short of the line. They've got numbers left, they go that way. There's Sass. Oh, there'll be a replay of the previous try, will it? No, it won't. Isaac Lanham's pass to Cody Tozer just behind him. Tozer has been the focal point for this Goulburn Workers Bulldogs attack in the first half. Scored a try early. He's had 2 opportunities that have gone close, but no cigar. And now into the last 3 minutes, there's still a 2 converted try difference between these teams. The game's been played at great pace. I suspect both sides will be very happy to get into the sheds and have a breather. 2.5 remaining, and there is no urgency at all from the Queanbeyan Blues to feed this scrum. They don't really need to have any urgency to feed it. Of course, they do have the advantage of a lead at the moment. Go via Hayden Bradley. And that's Delamere. Takes it to about 12 out. Again, simple stuff, but they're doing it well. There's Jamie Bradley, the third of the three Bradleys involved for the Queanbeyan Blues. That's him in the 14. Now that's Barlow. Clever play there by Woods. The Bulldogs were expecting to go up the middle. He went around the short side. They've got an overlap this side, but they go the other way. Go back to Hayden Bradley. Now across to the right with Connor Williams. Williams gives it to Antonio. Antonio pops the ball out the back. Oh, just one more pass again. They may have been off to the races. That's with Williams. Connor Williams kicks for touch from just short of the halfway line. It goes over the sideline about 25 out. So Goulburn will get one more crack at this. It'll need to be a long-range effort, but well, to be fair, we've seen plenty of long-range stuff come off here at Seaford Oval this Sunday afternoon. Well, it was late Sunday morning, to be fair, when we kicked off. Now it's 60 seconds remaining before the break. There goes Flack. So we've got 55 seconds to go 65 metres. Can they do it? Bailey Lanham. He knocks off 12 of those metres. It's Flack again. Good tackle by Jamie Bradley. In the middle of the park they go. They've got Matthew Wood waiting for it. Cut around him. Nicholas Douglas. So this will be the last. 20 seconds left. What can they do? They go to the left. Sass puts it high. Who's it for? It'll be taken by the Queanbeyan Blues with about 10 seconds remaining in the break, in the half. Well taken there by Jared Hitchens. One, maybe two hit-ups available. 3, 2, 1. Clock reaches 0. As Lincoln Bradley gets up, plays the ball, and the Queanbeyan Blues decide, well, they could have thrown it around, but they decide instead to hang on to the pill. And at half-time, it's 16 points to 4 in favour of the Queanbeyan Blues. But don't write this one off just yet. These sides both capable of scoring a lot of points in a very short period of time. But for the Blues, Lincoln Bradley, Adam Barlow and Willie Delamere, the try scorers. Ashton Naidu, 2 from 3. And for the Bulldogs, it was Cody Tozer who scored way over in the corner. And Max Flack unsuccessful with his one conversion attempt at 16-4 at half-time in the under-19s here at Seaford. second half, well, I'd like to say the second half about to get underway in this Bloomers Lawyers Under-19 Division 1 Grand Final, but we've only got one team on the paddock at the moment. Do hear stories from time to time in country footy about how one team delays their return to the arena and the referee decides, well, enough is enough, and lets the other team restart. But I think the problem we've got here is that it's the Blues who are meant to kick off. So if the Blues can't kick off, can the referee blow time on and the Goulburn workers run up and just grab the ball? I'm not sure whether that's legal. Sonny, you're a referee. Is that legal? Offside? Hey? Kick hasn't gone 10. Yeah. Numerous legal issues about that. I'm sure they'll find a reason. I'm just leaning over the edge here, leaning over the precipice, and I still can't see any sign of this Queanbeyan Blues side. They lead 16 points to 4. They'll be pretty keen to get out here and wrap it all up. Now there's some conversation going on down under the shadow of the posts. Jake Sass, Max Flack having a chat. Can't imagine Bulldogs coach Adam McLaurie would have been terribly upset with his side going in at half-time down 2 tries. They've scored a lot, a real lot. 462 points they scored during the season. And yes, Queanbeyan have scored 520, but the big strength for the Goulburn side this year has been their defence. They'd only during the regular season only conceded 74 points. So they need a good defensive effort. And if they can lay a foundation there, the rest will come. Okay, warning whistle there from Elijah Finance. Now this will be interesting. There is still no sign of the Queanbeyan Blues side coming out from the dressing rooms. I'm sure you've seen Elijah Finance there putting his hands out saying what's going on, what's going on. Now he's looking at the watch. And here they come, making a return to the paddock, led out by Bradley Buckley in the number 8. Jack Williams, Falasai, Ryan Longhurst, they're all coming back out now. Could have been really interesting had that gone for another few seconds. I can't hear the referees, so I've got no idea what was said down there. Blues to kick off. As mentioned earlier, if you haven't been with us for the whole game, the wind here is very strong. It is blowing largely across the ground, maybe just favouring the Queanbeyan Blues a little bit in this second half. They kick off, and that's where the wind is blowing to that corner, fairly deep. It goes back for mine from Douglas, and that is indeed agreed to. And it was Eaton who took the hit up for the Goulburn workers side. They would need to score first here, but also can't afford to give up possession. Mind you, it's been pretty good from both sides so far in this game, as Bailey Lanham takes it out past the 30. Hasn't been a lot of drop ball, hasn't been a lot of turnovers of possession. That's well for the future for both of these clubs if they can hang on to their juniors. Into opposition territory. Last tackle, says the referee, and the kick will come from Nick Douglas. He goes along the ground, chasing it underneath it is Pahara, and Eldrick Pahara takes it up to the 30-metre line and a little bit further. Now Antonio. Antonio is looking to offload. He's threatened to do that about 3 times in there, and it takes 4 Goulburn players to wrap him up. Pahara into dummy half. As who's left by Connor Williams, gives it then to, was Barlow again? It was. Going left, there's Nathan Bradley, or Hayden Bradley rather, and then he finds Willie Delamere. It's pretty rough when there's 3 players called Bradley and I'm making up a first name for one of them. Now they go left again. Here he is, Tuafelasai. Oh, just pushes off the tackle. Taken in the second, is about 15 out. Last tackle, says the referee. And the Blues pick up a penalty. Bulldogs not retiring quickly enough. Or was it a little bit of interference in the play of the ball? Maybe a little from column A and a little from column B. They take the tap and give it to James Antonio. They've got numbers to the left. Oh, juggling the ball. Lincoln Bradley, I think. No, it was Bradley Buckley, rather. And now going in underneath. Oh, just short of the line. Goes to FLSI. There's a Goulburn player down injured in there. Going to be okay. I think he just copped one in the belly. Oh, caught the stinger there in the arm by the looks of it. Shaking it off. It's Lachlan Greenwood. Alright, so FLSI will play the ball from right on the line. I think this is the third. Just see a reset of the tackle count. We'll see what happens here. Buckley back to Williams, now across to Hayden Bradley. Run around play, goes to Lincoln Bradley. Then it's with Adam Barlow. He's got one in the grand final, he's got a second. They've gone from right to left all the way across the park. The Queanbeyan Blues, the best possible start to the second half for them. They scored about 3 minutes into the first half, and they've scored about 3 minutes into the second, and they go to a 20-4 lead here at Seaford Oval. And they would now feel as though they have one hand on the premiership trophy. In Adam Barlow's hand, it may well be. He gets his second. It's all very, very easy stuff. They've done it a couple of times today. Really stretched this Goulburn Workers Bulldogs side with lateral movement. Beautiful stuff. Naidu has been kicking across the field, across the breeze from the other end of the park in the first half. This one may well pose him a little bit more of a challenge. He's got the wind. He's going to push it very much from right to left. And also the wind swirling in over the top of the grandstand here at Seaford Oval. He's got 2 from 3. Brought it back quite a way. It'll get a carry on the breeze. It starts off to the left and it stays over there. Score remains 20-4. Well, time starts to be a pressure factor on this Goulburn Workers side now. They need the footy. They're desperately trying to get it. You've seen on those first 2 tackles there, they've been up very, very quickly. Queanbeyan have it. Antonio was calling for it. Elect not to use him that time. They might this time. No, they go the other way. That's with Hayden Bradley again. They go across to the left. That's Delamere. Takes it to just 8 metres short of the halfway line. Hayden Bradley again. He goes to Ryan Longhurst, and Longhurst almost get them into opposition territory. Does so. Pushed back. Lost the ball in there. That's come free. And which way is that going to go? He's called that a loose carry. Scrum feed to the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs right on the halfway line. It's not panic stations yet. They can score points and do it in a real hurry, but they're up against a very good defence. They're down by 16 with 24 minutes to play. They go to the left. That's Sass. Was that one of the Lanhams in there taking the ball in under the pile? It was Isaac Lanham. Now they get the penalty. James Antonio's taking the ball away with him for a short walk. They get the penalty from 5 metres in. Just take the tap, give it to Isaac Lanham, and he takes another 5. Right, what have they got? They haven't had much of a chance of late, this Bulldogs side. What have they got? They go via O'Connor. He has a try assist from earlier in the game when Tozer crossed over in the left corner. Marshall at dummy half. Sass finds Douglas. Douglas has the ball go down behind him. Dived on by the Blues. And I can tell you there's someone directly below us who's not happy with that decision. Now the clock stops with 23 minutes and 6 seconds remaining. Big conversation between Bradley Buckley and referee Elijah Finance. Ball had also been sent to Timbuktu. All that combining to a stoppage on the clock. It'll restart in a moment. 23:06 left. You'd think the Goulburn side would have a set play up their sleeve for this circumstance. They give it to Isaac Lanham off the back of the scrum, and he takes it to 25 out there, directly in front of the post. They've got numbers to the right, but I think they're going to go the short, so they do. They go via Lachlan Greenwood. He takes them to the 20. They're just on the fringe of the red zone now, the Bulldogs. Going right, there's Sass. Sass to Douglas. Douglas takes it inside the 20. Standing in the tackle, pushing further forward and pushing further forward. Slow play, the ball coming up. Marshall, he goes to the right, gives it to the fullback in Flack. Flack takes it up to the 10. There's 3 of the Blues players greeting in there. They stop him on the 10-metre stripe. The whistle comes in. Well, the Blues aren't doing themselves any favours. Yes, they've got a 16-point buffer. They also get pretty tired if you've got to keep defending. And this Workers Bulldogs side, they're really hammering on the door now. That was Eaton. Run from dummy half. Pushed back into the field of play. Great effort from Marshall. Now they go left. Comes back to the halfback Douglas. Now it's with Sass. Sass skips to his left, skips to his right, gets through. Brought down from behind. Only a couple of metres out. Lots of options. Douglas, they go to the right. It's with Lanham. Isaac Lanham. 2 metres short of the line. Marshall's had a look to his right. He goes that way. There was a player calling for it. Going at great speed. Gets over the line. Referee says didn't get it down. Bailey Lanham was the man taken over. Didn't get it down. They bring the ball back. And we'll play it on the 10. Get another stoppage here. We have another stoppage here. Out of shot at the moment, but there's a Queanbeyan player down, receiving some treatment just adjacent to the uprights. We'll watch the replay here. You'll see Bailey Lanham come into the shot like an express train from the right. There he is. Comes in, rolled over. Not sure if it's Sam Woods who was the attempted tackler who was down. He's still being treated there. Gets up. What was the next one over? It was Joshua Eaton, the man who didn't get up after the tackle, but he's up now. Blues go again. Once again, they go via Sass. He gives it to the fullback, who goes to Flack. Flack goes to Tozer. Tozer, oh, how did he stay in the field of play there? Well, they tried something different. Well, you'd like to say it was something different, but I reckon it's the 4th time they've tried to finish a movement with Tozer. And again, it's come up short. 8.5 gone in the second half. And it's still 20 points to 4 for the Blues. And they're getting to the stage where they can just make sure they hang on to it. It'll make life very difficult for their opponents. Antonio has it, takes it to the 20. Impressed by that man today, Hayden Bradley. Likewise, Connor Williams. And now it's with Lincoln Bradley. He's tending from touch on the far side of the ground. They're just working it from side to side here and doing it quite nicely. That might be Delamere. Longhurst. A couple of metres from the halfway line. Woods again finds Hayden Bradley. Now he kicks using the shelter of the grandstand, and then it takes a wicked break. Flack has to turn around. He gets there, gets past Connor Williams, but can't get past the attempted tackle from Eldrick Pahara. He's still inside his own 20. It's O'Connor. And still Cooper O'Connor. Oh, he's picked up and unceremoniously dumped by Bahara. That's got to hurt. I reckon there might be Dial coming in from the other wing. He hasn't had a lot of possession today, Dial. Comes in search of the footy. They go through the hands to Eaton. On the 30, their own end of the ground. Just need a spark here, and it's not forthcoming. I reckon that was Pepernell who took the ball up, and now the kick comes downfield. It's going to roll into the in-goal area, so they may be able to trap the opposition down inside their own 10. Sass comes in for the tackle, assisted by Douglas. It's Naidu who was wrapped up in the tackle inside his own 10. Second tackle, and again, massive defence from the Goulburn side. And they push Queanbeyan back to about 2 metres out. It was Bahara, I reckon, who was pushed back then. Now they give it to Antonio. He pops the little backdoor pass out the back. Here we go. What have we got? We've got Williams. Jack Williams. He sent it on the inside to Connor Williams. Oh, it's a Williams party here at Queanbeyan. Now Bradley comes in. We've had the two Williamses. How many Bradleys are we going to have involved? Bradley bounces out of one, bounces out of a second, puts the ball back to Antonio. Then it's on to Jack Williams. He goes on to Adam Barlow. Barlow takes the ball to the 20. They're right in front of the posts. Carving it up at the moment, the Blues side. They go to the left. There's Bradley. That was Hayden Bradley. Gives it across to Delamere. Delamere has a try from the first half. He'd love to get a double. He's 12 out. Last tackle, says the referee. Slow play the ball. Numbers to the left, and they go that way with Hayden Bradley. Puts the kick through. Big trouble here for the Goulburn side if they can't get the ball back into the field of play, and they can't. They've got a penalty. Didn't see what the penalty was for. Referee much closer to the action than I was. I didn't realise there was a penalty until I saw it being taken as a touch finder. So Goulburn, they do have the ball, but now they're starting to run out of time. 17 minutes, 16 points the difference. Really, they do need ideally to score off this set as Angus Marshall sets off from a dummy half run. Picked up and dumped on his back, too short of the halfway line. Flat pass. Pepernell has it. He's 10 metres into opposition territory. Douglas. Quick ball, I think it was Lanham again. No, it wasn't. It was Greenwood, Lachlan Greenwood. Now they go left with Sass. Now it's to Lanham. Isaac Lanham finds on the outside. Max Black. He's a point-scoring machine. Can he get there? Oh, he's been called into touch. The touch judge says he's gone into touch. Love to see this again. That may have been the spark that the Goulburn Bulldogs needed. Goes to Flack, he gets past Antonio. Great defence from Bradley, and well, let's have another look as he comes in, and well, if you can pick it from that, you're a better man than I am. Touch judge was Johnny on the spot and said it was into touch, and I don't think there's enough there to overturn it. Not that we go to the video ref anyway. So it'll be a scrum feed to the Queanbeyan Blues. 16 points the difference, 16 minutes remaining. Delamere takes the ball after a couple of passes to the scrum, and he takes 10 metres with three players hanging off him. Work it around the far side, the short side, just having a look to see what's going on. There's a couple of changes been made there for the Queanbeyan side. That's Bradley Buckley. He's about 5 short of halfway. They go to the left. Tui Filisai. Now, I don't think he had his head strapped in the first half, so he's obviously copped a bump somewhere along the way. Now Hayden Bradley to Connor Williams. Now it's with James Antonio, and Antonio has support on his outside, and that's from Jack Williams. He's been a live wire since he came on. Last tackle is the call. It's with Connor Williams. He kicks across field. It hangs and hangs in the breeze. The players losing into the sun. Underneath it was Lincoln Bradley. He takes it, puts it on the outside, and Naidu! Oh, it's almost another song. Naidu, 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 and he scores. And that may be enough to put a second hand on the Premiership trophy in the Bloomers Lawyers under-19s. With Ashton Naidu, 2 conversions earlier today. Now he has a try to go with it. 5th try for the Blues. You see this? The bomb goes up. They use the sun to their advantage. Lincoln Bradley just comes in, takes it running away from it. Not the best of passes, but great awareness from Ashton Naidu to just pick it up off the turf. He knew there was no one in front of him and he only had a handful of metres to go. Plonks the ball down over the stripe. 24 points to 4, 20 points the difference. Kick to come, 14 minutes remaining. Massive, massive 4-pointer for the Queanbeyan Blues. Let's just hope that this one is continued to be played in a good spirit. It's been a cracking game of rugby league by both sides. Goulburn just unlucky. They've had so many tries that have gone begging on that left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, by my reckoning. Maybe a case of too little too late if they score next. Conversion successful from Naidu. That's not easy. Converts his own try. So he's got 10 points for the day. And his side has 26. They lead 26-4, 13 remaining. The Bloomers Lawyers under-19s Division 1 Grand Final for 2019. Max Flack with the low trajectory kickoff, and James Antonio, he's had a pretty good game up till this point. I think you can forgive him a knock on there. The bouncing ball wrong footing him. He knocks it on into touch for good measure. But even 3 converted tries in the next 12 minutes won't be enough here. The Queanbeyan Blues, as much as possible, can really enjoy the next 12 minutes of rugby league. I'm sure their coach, Neil Bajorak, will be sitting back with a fairly contented smile on his face. In the end of a grand final, it doesn't matter whether you win by 4 or by 14 or by 40. You can take the foot off the pedal just a little bit if you want to. Marshall goes to his right now, Douglas. Douglas gives the ball to Wood, and Matthew Wood, famous rugby league name that is. He's tackled just short. They go for a little scurry from dummy half, pops it outside. Well, I did say the Queanbeyan Blues could be forgiven for taking it easy, but they've gone in super hard there, too hard, too quickly. And the Bulldogs, they get a penalty. They'll take the tap from on the 10. They're spread out right across the park. Instead, they go for the option 1 off the tap. Okay, they're only a metre out. Ball bounces once. Picked up by Nick Douglas. He almost evades the tackle from Antonio. But doesn't. He's brought to ground. Not sure who else is making the tackle there. It may have been Lincoln Bradley. They come across to the left with Sass. Sass then gives it to Flack. Flack, he's been robbed of a try earlier today by a matter of inches, and he really was looking for the line there. But again, held out by about 5 metres. Marshall runs from dummy half, gives it to O'Connor. O'Connor to Tozer, and Tozer is over in the corner. And I think that's going to be a double for him. It is. And in the end, after some fairly physical stuff and some fairly stout defending, the Goulburn Workers side, well, they've targeted the left corner all day. And that's where all their points have come from. Max Flack going back to try and take the conversion very, very quickly. There's Flack in the lead up to it. Marshall comes into dummy half. He looks to his right, goes for a couple of steps himself. That's just enough to draw a couple of defenders. Gets the ball to O'Connor, which brings the extreme outside man in from the Blues and opens up the pathway for Cody Tozer. And Flack, well, he's kicked a bundle this season. That's his 59th goal for the year, and they don't get much harder than that. From the extreme sideline, and you can hear the wind absolutely blowing a gale here. 26-10. Can they score 3 tries in 10 minutes? Well, they can. Can they do it against a quality defence? That's another question. Sitting down doing my notes prior to this game last night and looking at it, and I could not for the life of me pick how this game was going to go. I thought we were destined for a close one. It may well finish up a lot closer on the scoreboard, but you'd say the Blues are still the favourites. But can there be one more twist in the tail for season 2019 in the Bloomers Lawyers under-19s? That was Flack who took the ball out there. Now another run from dummy half from Marshall. He's up to the 30. That's the 3rd tackle. Pimpernel waiting for it. They go further than him. They go by Douglas. Then on to, I reckon that's Isaac Lanham. They're still in their own half. Low trajectory 40-20 perhaps. There's nobody back for the Blues. Now there is. Ball goes through the hands and it goes to Cooper O'Connor. He's been dangerous this season for the Bulldogs. 5 metres into opposition territory is the last tackle. Marshall goes for a run. He's got to offload to somebody. He offloads out the back and it goes to Antonio. But it's an offside player. So the Bulldogs, will they get the ball back? The CPR continues on this game. And they give it to Matthew Wood. He's 35 out. The equation is 3 tries in 8 minutes. And they're going to give it absolutely everything, leaving nothing in the tank. Now for the Bulldogs, that is Douglas. He's inside the red zone. Marshall goes to his right to Sass. Sass shows the ball to the right. Runs into the tackle of Tuifelisei. Whistle, penalty. Slowing things up. Now the referee sent a man to the bin. Not just to the bin, that's Tuifelisei. Fai Tuifelisei goes to the bin. He'll be gone for the rest of the game. There's only 7.5 minutes left. Now the clock stops. Well, the lock forward makes his way off the field. 13 on 12. Well, when you're 3 tries down with 7 minutes left, that one may be manna from heaven. They go for the big man. They give it to Matthew Wood. He stands at the tackle. He goes to ground. 2 out. They've looked to the left. They've got numbers across to the left if they can get the ball across quickly. Instead, they go for a run from dummy half through Marshall. He's into the in-goal area. He's back into the field of play. Still got numbers to the left. I think Nick Douglas has just called to that effect as well. The ball comes to him. He goes for the long ball to Sass. Sass shows the dummy, gives it to Flack. Flack knocks the ball on. Well, they tried what they had to do. They had the extra man out on this side of the paddock. But the pass, it needed to be centimetre perfect and it wasn't. And now, despite being a man down, the Blues, I think they've managed to withstand the storm. The scrum will be fed eventually. There's Goulburn. They get in to pack the scrum, and there goes a fullback on the back of the scrum. I love how scrums these days can contain an assortment of wingers, centres, second rowers. Sometimes there's still even front rowers go into them. Now James Antonio. Bullocking run for him. 6.5 remaining now. We see Delamere for the Blues. He's still going and still going. He's laid flat. Well, we've got the same 2 clubs playing in the first grade grand final later on this afternoon. Oh, what a day. What a day this is going to be here. Go to the right. Hayden Bradley, Connor Williams, gives it to Jack Williams. The Williamses are related, the Bradleys aren't. Going around the back, there's Connor Williams again. His kick rolls and it'll go into touch, about 9 out. And And that'll just burn some more time. That's what it's all about now for the Queanbeyan Blues. Just finish the job. Ball comes back to the 10-metre line for a restart for Goulburn. They get in position. 3 converted tries in 5 minutes, I think, is beyond the realms of possibility for just about anybody. I'm sure it's happened, but very, very tough ask. Spin the wall to the right. Go with Boyd. He takes it to the 20. Now to the left, and that's Christian Moss. Ball's come free. Stripped out, 2 in the tackle. Goulburn take the quick penalty. They'll get one last attacking raid, you'd think, here. And take the tap from a couple of metres into Blues territory, and Lanham takes it up to the 35. Marshall, quick play the ball, goes to his right to Bailey Lanham. And they're 25 out. Marshall again goes to Sass. Sass, dummies right, dummies left, hangs onto the ball himself. Brought to ground by Bradley Buckley. Willie Delamere helping in that tackle. Now the run from dummy half from Marshall. He gives it to Bailey Lanham, and Bailey Lanham's too short. Now waiting for it was Greenwood. They go to Flack. Flack goes on the outside, but there's the intercept. Williams with the intercept it was. And that will be it. That will be all she wrote, even though the Blues have been pushed back into the in-goal area. Referee says I've already called held, so the ball will take place at 2 metres out. There's only 3.5 to go here, and we're just about done. Willie Delamere goes for a run, and he goes for a run despite having Goulburn players hanging off the back of him. He gets out to the 20. They're not done here yet, this Blues side. They want more points. They've scored a heap of them across the course of the season, and they're looking for more, even though we're into the last 3 minutes and change of the grand final. Ball's been stripped. So now it's the Bulldogs looking to just close the gap. Flat pass to Bailey Lanham. He stands, pushes off a couple, but they hang on to him. 7 metres to go. Marshall goes to his right, gives it to Pepinell. Pepinell is in the middle of that pack of players there, completely surrounded by blue jerseys. The ball comes back to Douglas. He goes to his right, gives it to Isaac Lanham, who can't hold the pill. It goes to the ground, and it's taken by Lincoln Bradley. The fullback for the Queanbeyan Blues takes it now outside the 20. 2.5 remaining. Running in and through to pick the ball up there was Jack Williams. They go left. That'll be Adam Barlow, and he's about 12 short of the halfway line. They can completely control the game from here. I reckon that's Longhurst again. Bear in mind the Blues, they're down to 12 men, have been for the last 5 minutes, but still haven't conceded any points in that period. There goes Hayden Bradley across to Lincoln Bradley. Lincoln Bradley finds Ashton Naidu. Naidu back on his inside to Barlow. Barlow goes on his outside to Lincoln Bradley. Lincoln Bradley to Hayden Bradley. He's cut down within the shadow of the line. He's only 5 metres out. Last tackle. They go to Connor Williams. Connor Williams gives it to Antonio, who can't hang on to the ball. He sets sail for the line without it. And it's a double knock on as Cody Tozer finds it too hot to handle off the turf. With 90 seconds remaining, it'll be the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs who'll play the ball on their own 10. Well, they're still trying to just add, I guess, a little bit of respectability to the score. It's Dylan Brown who took it up for them the first time, and here we go, the break is on as Isaac Lanham gets through, but he's wrapped up in a ball and all tackle. I think it was Lincoln Bradley it was, in that second line of defence. Now Christian Moss, just short of the halfway line. That's the third. Go left with Lachlan Greenwood, that's tackle 4. Angus Marshall has been very busy at dummy half, gives the ball to Jake Sass, and Sass goes for the kick. It bounces once, tapped up in the air to his own advantage by Bradley. He hangs on to it, evades the tackle of Cody Tozer, but good luck trying to get out of the tackles further. Tozer gets him in the second effort, helping out Flack. I think Sass was the other man in there. I'm hearing ball security is the call from someone downstairs as the ball gets stolen, so it'll be the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs who'll finish up in possession of this one because there's only 10 seconds left. Can they add to it, or does it finish up 26-10? They go to the left, they give it to Cooper O'Connor. He bounces out of one, and it won't be the Bulldogs with the ball at the end because it's still free. It's been taken by Jack Williams. The siren sounds. He goes to ground, and the Queanbeyan Blues, as the ball is tossed into the air, are the premiers and the Bloomers Lawyers under-19 Division 1 Grand Final. They win 26 points to 10 over the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs, and congratulations to them. Cracking game of football, well played by both sides, with the Blues just that little bit better on the day. They scored 5 tries in the afternoon. Adam Barlow had a double. Willie Delamere, Lincoln Bradley and Ashton Naidu, the other try scorers. And Naidu with 3 conversions from 5 attempts. For the Bulldogs, Cody Tozer with a double. Max Flack with 1 goal, 1 conversion from 2 attempts. Half-time, it was 16 points to 4. Full-time, 26 points to 10. Congratulations to Neil Bajurak, the coach of the Queanbeyan Blues under-19 side. And to all the players in the blue jersey today. Commiserations to the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs. As we mentioned in the early stages of the game, the Queanbeyan Blues, they went to the top of the ladder in round 1. They were never off the top of the ladder. Their only loss was to this Goulburn Workers Bulldogs side. That was in round 16. It didn't affect their ladder position. They stayed on top of the table all the way through. The Goulburn Workers Bulldogs were nipping at their heels all through the season. They went to second place in round 3 and stayed there right across the year. They lost in the semi-final. They bounced back in the prelim last week. But it has been a case of too good all year for this Queanbeyan Blues side, and congratulations to them as they pick up the Bloomers Lawyers under-19s Division 1 Premiership. The Blues defeating the Bulldogs 26 points to 10 in the grand final here at Seaford Oval.
Let's welcome Dave Skinner from the country, I believe, with the presentations for the Under-9 Division 1 Grand Final. So our match officials, Elijah Perez, to the two coaches, and his selector, Matt Platt. Thanks to the boys for the great year. Couldn't think of a better place like the UFC. Thanks to the crowd, thanks to everyone who came from Goulburn Responds. Means a lot. And I'd like to call upon the captain of the Blues, Brad Buckley, to come forward. And finally, Queanbeyan Try, Congratulations, Bulldogs, Under-9 Division 1 Grand Final winners.